Hey, this is Vu, and today I'm going to talk about finding your playstyle and most importantly, improving on the playstyle that you kind of naturally have. You're going to notice that for a lot of people in Silver or Nova, things like this, you're focusing a lot on your aim, your crosshair placement, recoil control, movement, these things that as you get past that to DMG, LE, and above, you're going to notice that these things are pushed to the back of your mind and you focus more on small gameplay things like angles you like to hold, angles you have success with, and things that you are good at intrinsically. For me, for example, I have pretty quick reactions, I have pretty good movement, and I get extremely bored when I hold angles for too long. I simply can't hold an angle, and when I was a little bit younger, when I was starting CS, I had a lot of trouble actually hitting flicks consistently on people when they came around corners. So to try and compensate for that, I moved into the area where I feel I am strongest. I played aggressively, I peeked out onto people to utilize my reaction times and to hit the flicks when I felt I was comfortable with them, which is when I was peeking on people and things like that. You're going to notice that in general, as you get to a higher level, you notice that your strengths and oftentimes more importantly, your weaknesses will guide the way you play. For example, if you look at Fur, who I believe has come out and said he's either partially or almost completely deaf in one ear, he's actually adapted his playstyle to be a little bit more aggressive because he's unable to actually sit back and listen for people. He's having a bit of a weakness there, and he recognizes that and adapts to try and compensate for that. And everybody should be doing this kind of naturally. Of course, you don't want to stick only with the things that you're good at. You need to be trying to expand yourself a little bit more and force yourself into scenarios so you know what you're good at. However, you will come to this conclusion at least a little bit with some testing. Now, the testing you want to be doing is at lower levels if you don't really have a playstyle, which is of course where this video is aimed. You want to just try and make sure that you play 5 to 10 games trying out different playstyles. It might be a little bit hard for you, but for some people I've noticed that they actually have trouble with their kind of natural playstyle or their most comfortable playstyle for the first few games, because when you're at lower level, a lot of the time all you do is you just kind of run around looking for people, you hold W a lot, you don't really do a lot of strategic things. So passive players often end up not playing super passive, or they play way too passive. So I would really recommend trying to look at a playstyle, see how some players play, and try and emulate that for 5 to 10 games and see how that feels for you. And after you've played 30, 40 games testing out these different playstyles, which of course may seem like a lot for some people, but if you play this game for long enough, you're going to play thousands of games. So hopefully 30 to 40 isn't that many in the grand scheme of things. You're going to notice that you're going to try and adopt some things from each different playstyle. You might feel like aggressively peeking on people is your thing. You might want to play aggressive, and you're going to try and move in that general direction, and that's absolutely what you should be doing. Everybody has a different playstyle. It doesn't matter what playstyle you try and emulate, you are going to play differently than everybody else you play with, at least in some aspects. This is one of the reasons that coaching in clutch situations is often the worst thing you can do, because one player might have an idea of how to play the round and it's absolutely not wrong. However, because the person coaching has a different idea, you kind of mesh these ideas and it ends up in some terrible gameplay. So what you're trying to do here, find your strengths by playing a variety of different playstyles and forcing yourself to play every map. Now, this might seem weird, every map, but I think every map focuses on something different. For example, I believe Cash focuses quite heavily on your ability to hold mid, but also on the other sides of the map, your ability to know when you need to retake areas for map control. So this is something where aggression oftentimes pays off, and knowing your timings well can pay off as well. Other maps focus on other things. A lot of these things are important for teams, but they will focus on certain aspects of your gameplay as well. So I would highly recommend learning every map to try and focus on that. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope this helped.